up, guys? It's Talia. Today is the evening of Saturday, January the 27th, and the reason why I'm doing this video tonight instead of trying to do it in the morning is because I have new equipment and it's probably going to take me some extra fiddling with and then figuring out the editing and whatnot. So I have an actual video camera on a tripod. So I also have a new laptop, but if I tried to do it on while it would have been faster and easier to record on the laptop, I would have been in the same situation of having to set it up on top of the stack of pillows on top of my ottoman. I'm not trying to do that and risk that thing falling off like the other one did so many times. And plus, you know who Kitty likes to get up under that ottoman. And right now I have the ottoman pushed way back, far away from my feet. And so the tripod is sitting right here in front of me. But anyway, I really hope that I can figure this out. If I do, you're going to be seeing it. So, today's video, I have a little bit of progress on some things that I was working on. I have a finish to show you. I have a couple of new things to show. Not necessarily like haul, like just a couple of new things. I'm going to go ahead. I think I have one or two new watches that I can tell you about. And since it's the last video of January, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys in on what I'm going to be doing in February. What my plans are going to be. So let me just go ahead and jump right in. Hold on. Sorry. First thing, my finish, if you were watching my video last week, you know that I was still waiting on something to come in. Not last week, week before last. But Wednesday, my 123 stitch order came in. The one that only had the skein of floss and the easy count fabric. So that's basic stuff. I don't need to show you guys that stuff. But that floss that came in was for this, and I was able to finish my pumpkin tree. I don't like to talk from behind my fabric, so any floss that it called for got switched out for something that was close that I had in my stash. And I think the majority of it, the specialty threads that it calls for is actually the GAST, if I'm not mistaken, for the most part. They did have DMC alternatives, which is what I use for the yellows. Like the yellows in these loops right here is kind of pale lemony yellow here. And then like where the owl's eyes are. That's, and then where his mouth is. I did use the DMC alternative for those yellows, and everything else was whatever Classic Colorworks or Week Style Works that I had in my stash that was close. And what I did was I was able to take the DMC alternative to what they suggested, to the specialty thread that they suggested. I took the DMC alternative and then matched that up to one of the dyed cottons that was in my stash. So that's that, and this is the pumpkin tree it's designed by Tracy Horner of Ink Circles, and it can be found in the 2016 Halloween edition of Just Cross Stitch. And this particular fabric, I dyed myself, and that's showing up really good. So it's 14 count, the Ada that I dyed myself. What are you doing? What do you, look, go away, go. I don't don't know why this cat likes to get into trouble. Like he always has to be into something. And it drives me up the wall. Trying to figure out where I should put this. Okay. The next thing I worked on, last week's video I was still trying to finish this up. But this week I have it finished up. I have the kind of a mini finish, if you will. I finished up the January block from Crabby all year. Finished up the bottom of the snow here, and then all the little flakes on the top. And looking at the model photo that's on the leaflet, I can tell that they stitched these snowflakes on top by carrying the thread. And there's nothing wrong with that. This is a very thick piece of fabric. This is a picture that's plus Belfast linen, but it's pretty thick. Fabric's dark, thread is light, so I'm not worried about it showing through. But what I did, and I really hope that I can make sense of this, to keep my X's from having one long extended leg, what I did was I worked my way across the pattern by the 10 by 10 blocks going across, and I would come up from the previous X in the farthest point away from it. In the farthest point of that next X, I would come up the farthest point in that X, go back up, and then I would come up and I would I'm trying to figure out what word to use. I would plan that X to where I was going down at the furthest point away from the next X that I was going to do. And then when I do that X, I come up in that furthest point away from the previous X. And then do the same, and that I would go down in the furthest point away from the following one. And what that does is that instead of that line continuing across, what that does is it forces the thread to come back around on itself, pretty much. You may or may not get shaken. Would you go away? Yeah, it forces that thread to kind of come back around. So let's say your hair, your next X is over here. What I would do would be to come up in the... What are you doing? Stop. If you're here, you're here. Next X is over here. What I would do... I'm having a look at this myself, so if I'm looking at the camera, I'll get confused. If you're here and your next X is over here, what I would do is I would make sure that I go down in this corner over here. So that, and then in this X over here, I'm coming up in that farthest side. I really hope that makes sense, but like I said, what it does is it forces that thread to come back over instead of continuing in a line. Really, really hope that made sense. It makes sense in my head. So that's how I tried my best to make the X's more square instead of having those long legs. It makes it look really really funny. And then the last thing I worked on this for a couple of days this week. When I finished off the snow in the Crabby all year. God. This is Earth Dancer by Butternut Road. pretty vintage pattern. It's old design. And this is where I got at on her. Sorry, had to remember. I finished off, there was like a little bit left in this middle row right here. And then finished off this here. It's about that much. And then I started on this side over here. And this one comes down pretty good way. So that's a pretty good, huge chunk of white right there also. So, just worked on white. That's it. And I hope to continue working on this. Just kind of give you a little sneak preview. Put that over there. What I got in this month. What I got in from Listia. I did get in one thing. I got in this book. Is the Donna Cooler's 555 cross-stitch designs for the young at heart. Right, yeah. For the young at heart. There's not a lot that I can show you in this book. It has like sections, and I can show you the example sampler at the beginning of each section. So I'll do a quick flip through of that, because the majority of the patterns in this book, beyond the first page of each section, is just going to be patterns of motifs. That's it. The first section, this is going to be, they're pretty much based on, like, the sections are titled according to like nursery rhymes. So the first section is going to be called Old MacDonald's Farm. And this is going to be your, like, some plant and animal designs in here. And obviously, like, all the different motifs that's in that sampler, you can pull them out separately. It has the full pattern for that full sampler as it is, but then you have like the different motifs. I'm going to hold this way back here. This is 2 pages. As you can see, like, there's the different motifs. There's the lamb and the bunny rabbits, family bunny rabbits, the horse-drawn carriage, and the garden of vegetables and stuff like that. So every one of these sections is like that. Chicken, nice chicken right there. The next one is going to be Mary, Mary, White Contrary, which is like flowers and like birds and bees and stuff like that. Next we have, don't worry, there's not a lot of sections. Next we have Rich Man, Poor Man, which is going to be the, for like professions and whatnot. People, that kind of thing. We have the Old Woman in the Shoe. As you can see, this is mainly like your teacups and your cutesy stuff. There's some cute little small patterns for like spring, summer, fall, and winter. Something small you could probably do on a card. Like home is where the heart is. Like home, it's basically what it is. This is like a section of like home type stuff. Places. Kids. Then we have Noah's Ark. Wrong one. Well, I might get it eventually. Yeah, there we go. Noah's Ark. We have your animals, obviously. And maybe it's just me, but I could see taking something like, let me not show you the original pattern, like these little corner designs right here. Taking something like that, or like this one, this rectangle piece right here in the center. Doing something like that up, you know, something simple. You know, just by itself. So. And then I think that's actually it. Yes. And in the back we have a couple pages of alphabets, so. But that is the 555 cross-stitch designs for the young at heart. So, and then the other thing, if you guys remember, I've had like the hardest time in trying to dye a particular piece of fabric. Last week I showed you the piece of fabric that I dyed for, hopefully, to use for a pattern. And I've been trying, I need a navy, I need a dark blue. And, of course you're going to do this right now. Sorry. Had fabric and it's still shedding. But I have this piece of fabric and I figured out that the fabric was 100% polyester. So I went and got the darkest dye color that RIT has in their Dye More line, which is for synthetic fibers. And it still wasn't dark enough. It turned out the color that it was supposed to turn out, but that particular color of blue was not dark enough. So what I did was I ordered from an online shop. Sorry. I don't know why the heck I just did that. I ordered some of this from an online shop. It's called iDye is the name of the brand, and it's iDye Poly, which means it's meant for polyester and synthetic. And inside you get a water dissolvable packet of dye, and you get another packet of the what do you call it? A color intensifier. That's what they call it. You get another packet of the color intensifier, which only comes with the iDye Poly, with this size. And so I followed the directions on this the way it said. I also, just like with the RIT dye that I used last week, I basically cooked it on the stove and cooked it for about 30 minutes or so, 30 to 40 minutes. And this is the color that I came up with. If you remember, last week it was a kind of a medium blue. I don't have anything that it would have been like. It was like, I don't know how to show you this. The color on this book. Like it was maybe about this color. It was a medium type sky blue. So, but using the iDye Poly, this is the color that I came up with. It's still pretty dark. It's darker than it's showing up on camera. Not a super dark navy blue. And you know what? You're seeing these modeling in here. I don't mind those actually. I don't know what has caused those. They're really not as pronounced in person as they are on camera. They're really, really more subtle in person than they are showing up right here. But I like this. I really do. It's like I said, it's not a super dark navy. I could almost compare it to the color that I changed the car in the Crabby All Year January block, the color that I changed the car to. I could compare it to that. That's actually showing up a little bit better. I don't know if this is gonna be the same color. This is the 820 that I changed the car to. It's a little bit lighter than that, but give or take. So, like I said, I do like this color. And considering it's the darkest that I'm going to be able to get this particular fabric, in the darkest blue I can get it, I'm okay with it, actually. I kind of had wanted a little bit darker, more of a deep, almost black, toward black, navy blue, but this is good too. So, that's all the new stuff. Like I said, I told you there wasn't a lot. The new watches, there's only a couple of them. And excuse me while I pull them up on my YouTube app. Oh, you guys, I'm only 5 away from 500. Spread the news, spread the word about my channel. I'll be having a giveaway soon. Maybe if we can combine it with a birthday in March. It'll be huge. Anyway, I did subscribe to a couple people, based on like the stitching carousel package that's coming out. Sonia at Cat Crazy Creations, she posted the list of all the people that have signed up, and I basically subscribed to the channels of the people that came before me. So I'll just go ahead and mention the people that I didn't get to mention last time. The last people that I didn't get to mention was Jan Hicks and Crescent Moonmaker. Crescent Moonmaker is a guy, and his name is Paolo, if I'm not mistaken. His name is Paolo, and he's actually from Switzerland. So, he started by showing us his projects, and at first you think that he mainly works on like simple things, but he does end up pulling out some more complex things. So go check him out. He's a new male stitcher. And then in response to the Stitchy Carousel, I subscribe to Special Crafts and More. Unfortunately, I haven't got a chance to watch her yet, so I couldn't tell you anything about her. Crochet Gal, Stitching Liss. I watched her most recent one. And then Andy Air. Yeah. I think she said that she goes by another like actual like a handle, so to speak, but that's her channel name right now is Andy Air, as in, and then she does comparative reason. Like the last name has to do with the Jane Eyre character. So, sorry I couldn't be of a lot of help, but those are the people that I subscribe to. I haven't gotten a lot of chance to watch Flosstube, so I haven't been able to watch all their videos yet. I'm going to get around to that soon, I promise. And the last thing I really have to show you guys is going to be what my plans are for February. And as I stated in my like at the end of the year, I want to take four projects each month and focus on those projects. Sorry, I'm just kind of like out here somewhere. Every month, I'm going to have my starts, but I'm also going to be picking 4 projects in addition to that I'm going to focus on for that month. And if there's a project that at the end of the month, if I want to continue working on, I'm allowing myself to continue with that project. I'm allowing myself to carry that over into another month. So what I'm actually going to be doing, give me just a second. I have to go get what my new start is. Okay, now I'm good. So my new start for February, it did get switched out from the little blackwork heart that I was going to do. It did get switched out to Mini Simply Meant to Be by Hayde. I'm doing this for my son. I picked this out late last year and confirmed with him that yes, he wants me to do this for them. This is a replacement for the Pokemon Epic Generation 2 that was going to take me like 50 years to complete because I hated working on it. And he's a huge fan of the Nightmare Before Christmas. Sorry. He's a huge fan of the Nightmare Before Christmas. So, I'm going to be doing that. And it is a mini, so hopefully it won't be super duper painful to work on. I think stitch count is 255 wide by 325 high. So 125 count is only going to be 10 and 1/8 by 13. And if you remember, I got my threads from Jessie Marie at the Storyteller collection. There's 3 of these rings, by the way. And the Easy Guide, Magic Grid, or whatever it's called, fabric. And I am going to be using 2 different needle minders, just because I feel like it. I'm going to be using my Crowley and my wooden piece from the Everyday Stitcher. It says, "Demons run when a good man goes to war." And if you recognize that quote, then you're awesome. So, that will be started in February, around the 18th, give or take. You know me, I sometimes have trouble forcing myself to wait till a certain day to start something. And then the 4 projects that I plan on focusing on this month, one of them is going to be the Spiritdancer that I just showed you. I'm keeping that out. I'm going to focus on that as well. That's probably going to be this week while it's on the Q-Snap. The other 3 projects, first one is going to be Dimensions. This one I get kind of irritated with working on. Sorry. This is Dimensions, Live Life in the Moment. Or as it's called, just basically In the Moment is the name of it. This is pretty much a testament to how I end up living my life. It's not something that I do consciously. I tend not to worry myself too much about the future. So this is where I've gotten at so far. I'm still on the N, in the word N. And the reason why this is a little annoying, this is the fabric that it came with. This is the included kit fabric. The reason why this is a little annoying is because dimensions, if you've ever done the dimensions kit, you know that they have various strand requirements for various areas of their projects. This fill-in right here, this blue fill-in, that's 4 strands. Luckily they're not full crosses. It's our only half crosses, half stitches, but it's 4 strands. Just that alone made my hand hurt. So I'm gonna work on this. I'm gonna at least, if I can, sorry, I'm gonna at least try to finish that block off and then do this eye block if I can this month. Yes, I know, committing a cardinal sin by keeping a project on a hoop. That will probably get moved to a Q snap when I get ready to work on it. But that's what I had it on at the time. The next thing I'm going to work on is another kit. It was a kit, but I switched the fabric out. I may actually, probably actually going to switch this out as well. The envelope. It's the Design Works kit called Astrology. Right? I think that's the name of it. They don't have the name on here, but Design Works calls it Astrology. It's a Joan Elliott design, and Joan Elliott calls it the Astrologer. So I'm going to work on that. And I did switch the kit fabric out, like I said, for something a little bit more pleasant. And it's a 16 count Ada. And I believe it's a, what is this called? Ooh. Sorry, it's late here. I think this is a Under the Sea fabric, but I'm not sure what the name of it is. Hold on. I got it. Hold on. Buttercup. Under the Sea fabrics in Buttercup. That's what I was thinking it might be, but I didn't want to speak out of turn. So this is where it sits at right now. As you can see, I've only got that little bit right there in the middle. My Pisces needle minder. Where I hope to get to on her this month, I don't know. Just to work on her a little bit more. And since I'm done with this black envelope that I had the pumpkin tree in, I'm going to switch this over because this one is actually, the zipper's broke on this one. So give me just a second while I do that. In case you're wondering, yes, I am using the kit flosses. Okay. Alright. So I can throw this one away now. Okay. And finally, probably something that I'm going to work on at home, when I'm at home, and not try to take it anywhere. I am going to try to work on the Soda Stitch 4 Seasons watercolor. Huge design. I started this in August of 2017 because it was a Flosstube anniversary start. See that little bit of white? That little bit of white right there? That's all I got done on it. That's all I got done on it. That's it. This one needs some love. This one definitely needs some love. And in case you're wondering, it is on Under the Sea in Whimsical Winter, if I'm not mistaken. I was looking to see if possibly I might have left the thing on there, but I didn't. You see, it's a pretty large piece of fabric. Yeah. So that's kind of why I haven't gotten very far on it. Because it's a huge piece of fabric. It's a huge design. So, and this is 18 count Aida. This is about as small as I could go. And still do it on Aida so that it was somewhat easy to stitch on. How did I have this folded up? Lord, I don't know want to know what he's doing in there. Okay, let's do this. What's that way? This way first? Maybe? Okay, maybe. That way, and that way, that way. Yeah. And then I got my T needle minder from the Everyday Stitcher. This one I really, really, really have been wanting to work on for weeks now. And I just haven't got the opportunity to do it. But the work schedule, this thing being too big to take to work, you know, it's one of those projects that's relegated. Like, I have to work on it at home. And I can't work on it anywhere else but home. And then there's a lot of days when I'm off and I'm at home. Well, the days that I'm off, I run around so much, and I have all this other stuff to do, that by the time I actually get any stitching in, it's not worth pulling this out. Like, I don't want to pull it out unless I can keep it on the frame, on the Q-snap, whatever, and just work on it for like a whole day. And I just haven't been able to do that. So that's my plans. That's my whips. That's my new stuff. How'd that work out for you? Somebody wanted to be slick and jump from like 2 or 3 feet away onto the ottoman, and I have a kind of a board sitting on top of the ottoman, and then I just put my broken zippered envelope on there, and he jumped way over and slid on that envelope. Funny. So that's going to be it for me today. I can't believe that this is as short as it is. I figured I'd be talking for a while. But yeah, that's going to be it for me. Like I said, I got some new stuff. Had to get a new laptop because I can't even get the other laptop to even power on because it's completely dead. And I can't get the charger to connect to charge it up any amount of time, because I was lucky in that quite a few of my HAEDs I did save in on my Google Drive. And Etsy, the digital patterns that you purchase on there, you can't actually go back and re-download them again. So I got that done, so I was lucky on that. I just need to get into this old laptop to make sure I get all my files off that I need to get off of it. I'm not worried about pictures, any old filmed videos or anything like that, because a lot of my stuff is already backed up to like Google Drive, Google Photos, Microsoft OneDrive, all of that stuff. So I can retrieve that stuff. It's just there are certain files on this other laptop that I really kind of need to get off of it. One being my plans, my 40 starts plans for this year. The other one being my spreadsheet on what I keep my existing whips on. Yeah, my existing whips on. So those two, and then maybe a couple more. Like I said, there's not a whole ton of stuff that I need to get off of that other computer. But if I could just get it to charge up, I would only need to use it for maybe 10 minutes and get this stuff off. So I really only need it to charge up that much. But I have a new laptop. It's a Dell, 1 terabyte of storage, hard drive. Not that I'm going to need a terabyte of storage. Video camera, tripod. The last thing that I needed to... Sorry, I keep feeling like I'm forgetting something. And I feel like if I look around enough, maybe I'll remember. But the last thing I wanted to let you guys in on, there's been a lot of stuff going on this week. What I was going to mention last week has completely morphed into something different. So it's kind of a good thing that I didn't mention it. But the biggest news being that this coming Wednesday, the 31st, is going to be my last day at my current job. It's going to be the very last day for me being the manager of the store. I was going to step away completely, but I care about people too much. And if I do that, the guy that's taking my place, who's not very familiar with the store anyway, the guy that's taking my place as manager, and then the guy who's recently took over as manager of the local store, you know, the guy that they called and took away from me, that was my employee, he needs his day off every week. The new manager at my store needs a day off every week. So I'm going to stay on probably a couple of days a week. One day over here, one day over there, to let them have their days off. And if something should happen and they need me in any other time, you know, I can fill in there. But for the time being, that's what's going to happen. And like everybody's been asking me, you know, what's your plan? You know, you got another job you're going to, or you know, where are you going to earn money? Like, what you got? You know, what you got in mind? The answer to that is, it's still in progress. Like, it's still something that I'm working out. The girl, one of the girls that works with me, she's gonna try to get me on at the company that she works for, that she took a job with back in, I think it was November of last year. It's her aunt's company. She was trying to get me on then, but I was like, no, I can't come right now. I have to stay at least until after the new year. But if I can't get on working with her at her on her team, then I will probably try to see about getting on at one of the other teams at a different location, because they have teams working in different locations in different cities, different buildings. So I'm doing that. I'm looking into a couple of other things as well. So don't worry, guys. I'm one of the people that truly believe that if you put your faith in God or the higher power, whatever you believe in, you just know that things will work out. I mean, it's not saying do nothing and expect things to be okay. I'm making moves. I'm making steps toward, applying for this job or looking at this job. I'm going to be real, and I'm going to let you guys know that I am going to apply for disability. I'm going to see about getting a lawyer to help me do that, because I know that, one, it gives me a better chance of getting approved, and two, it does help to kind of speed up the process a little bit. So that's another step in that plan. But yeah, there's a lot of different things that I've got in mind that I'm going to get the ball rolling on, and I probably won't just be earning money one way. So it'll work out. Somehow in the end it'll work out. I think it might be difficult, it might be a little tough at first, but like I said, I think I have faith that everything's going to work out. What are you doing? He is looking at something. It is driving him crazy. Oh my god. That tail is going every which way. He must be seeing another cat. Sorry, Dean is looking out the window over here. And it's nighttime. It's dark out there. Or somewhat dark. Anyway. But yeah, there's been a lot of big changes this week. I am going to be taking a trip to North Carolina late this coming week. If my last day at my job is Wednesday, I'm going to be leaving out and going to North Carolina on Thursday. Probably not coming back until Sunday. I'm going to look at the possibility of visiting a temp company down there and seeing what the options might be down there, because I'm not above moving back to North Carolina. So, like I said, it's just a lot of stuff that's been going on this week. I was approved for a loan, which is how I got the loan paid off that I owed my company. And then I took the extra money and got the equipment that I have. Also got my tire replaced because I scraped a curb in my new car. Scraped a curb a couple weeks ago. And my tire is over $200. So for a new tire. It's not that it messed the tire up to where it was like leaking air or anything, but it's just something that I wasn't comfortable with trying to drive the 250, 300 miles back to North Carolina with. So, did you have fun? I don't know what in the world's got him right now. But I got my tire replaced, got the oil changed and all that good stuff. Got my windows tinted. And the one thing that I said I blew my budget on, yes, I have bought a couple of stitchy things. Not much. I was thinking about that. I haven't really bought much. you know what? Yeah, I have. I bought needle minders, even though they probably won't be here for a couple of months. Bought needle minders. The one thing that really blew my budget was I broke down and bought the Gift of Stitching set, because most of us probably know there's an online stitching magazine. It's a digital magazine, and they ceased publication back, I guess, earlier this year or last year sometime, I don't know. And there's 72 issues in all, and they decided about a few weeks ago that they were going to be going out of business. And I think they're the 27th. Is it today? I think it must have been today. Would have been the last day. And so I went ahead and said, you know what? They're going out of business. It's not like I'm going to have a chance to, if I change my mind later on, to go back and get. You never know. I might find some stuff in there. I haven't got a chance to look through every single issue yet because they are digital. But the thing is, they're only like a few pages long. You might get 4 or 5, 6, 7 patterns in each magazine. And I haven't had a chance to look through maybe about 10 of them. And truth be told, I've only found a couple of patterns out of those 10 issues. I've only found a couple of patterns that even pique my interest. I haven't yet come across anything that, oh my god, I just have to stitch. But I'm going to keep looking, I'm going to keep checking, and maybe next year one of them, something might come up. We'll see. But that's going to be it for me, guys. Yeah, you can tell I'm getting tired. That's going to be it for me. I really hope that I can get this edited okay. There shouldn't be too much editing, like cutting and stuff that I need to do to this particular edition. But if you probably haven't already been able to tell, the intro might be a little different. The outro, closing screens might be different. So just bear with me. This is all new equipment. I'm trying to get used to it. New editing on my new laptop. Because the software that I used on my old laptop, Windows, does not support it anymore. So you can't even download it anymore. The only way I could use that software would be if I were to save that program to a disk or to something, and then physically move it to my new laptop and install it there. I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not a computer expert. But that's even if I can get the old laptop to charge. We gotta cross that hurdle first. So yeah, that's gonna do it for me today, guys. I'm really tired. Been talking for too long. My throat's really dry, and I got a cat that's going crazy for some reason out here. So I want to see what he's all into. And I guess until I talk to you guys next week, I hope you guys get lots of stitching in. Have a great week. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.